Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome. So we're here. Where are we?
Tollgate Park.
Tollgate. Tell us something about where we're at.
So Prabhupada actually visited. No, he didn't. I wish he did. But, next best thing, there are devotees here. Tollgate Park is in Crawley, which is in the southeast of England. A place that Nitai Prabhu and Bhava Bhakti Mataji have been coming for many years, and they come back here after quite a long time. So
After lockdown.
Yeah. So we're here again, reading the Bhagavatam.
So it's actually near Gatwick Airport. Might be the big thing that everyone would know. But we're here with some very wonderful, exalted personalities. Sham Govinda Prabhu, who's been looking after the Crawley Yatra for many years, and his amazing wife, Kaishori Sindhu. I only know Kaishori. Kaishori Sindhu Mataji, who is imported from Australia, mate.
G'day.
G'day,
That's
mate.
like a combination of Irish and
That is terrible. And anyway, she is like the jewel of Australia, and she has somehow been transported here. So we're very honored that they're joining us today for reading of Bhagavatam Bites. So let us not forget what we're here to do. So we're here to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam and discuss. So we can all say the invocation together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So where are we at, Mom?
We're at Canto 3, Chapter 13, Text 1, the appearance of Lord Varaha.
So we're starting a new chapter, so it's like a new chapter in our lives. We're starting with you all. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, maybe Kaishori Sindhu Mataji, would you like to please start?
Sri Sukadev Goswami said, O king, after hearing all these most virtuous topics from the sage Maitreya, Vidura inquired further on the topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which he adored to hear. The word adritaha is significant because it indicates that Vidura had a natural inclination for hearing the transcendental message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was never fully satisfied, though continuing to hear those topics. He wanted to hear more and more, so that he could be more and more blessed by the transcendental message.
Okay. Anyone has any thoughts? Anything stood out? Any reflections?
Just that Vidura likes hearing. Wants to hear more and more. I guess that's a sign of advancement, as opposed to, sometimes we read and it's like, I just need to do a bit of my section of reading and I'm done. I guess it's advancement if we do more than that.
And he's never fully satisfied, which I remember it comes up again and again in Bhagavatam that the topics of Krishna, they never fully satisfy the heart. You want to hear them more and more. But mundane topics, there's an end to them. You can have enough of the news.
Right, yeah.
But you can never have enough of Krishna.
Yeah, we were just looking at the word adritaha. Say?
yeah, no, it's just I wish I could adore what I'm reading, have that appreciation for this subject matter like Mahatma Vidu. I always love the choice of words and the translation that Prabhupada has given, because it gives us a sense of what these personalities were feeling. It wasn't just this was being relayed, this information was being relayed to him, but the mood in which Vidu was absorbing this transcendental knowledge.
Yeah, in the purport, Prabhupada says adritaha because it indicates he had a natural inclination for hearing. But in the verse and also in the word for word, it says one who so adores. And if you adore something, it's like it's adorable. It's like it's like a child is usually like adorable. It's something you can't take your eyes off. If a child comes into an assembly, everyone's focusing on this little child and can't stop interacting with it. So it's just like it's like almost addictive. Yeah, really wonderful point. Should we move on to the next verse?
Yeah.
Would you like to read Shambhala?
Vidura said, O great sage, what did Swayambhuva, the dear son of Brahma, do after obtaining his very loving wife?
Okay, so, yeah, sorry to interrupt, but just to bring us up to speed, remember, Bob, when we were just reading, we just heard that Lord Brahma, he had created so many things, and he had also created so many sons and daughters to populate the universe, but actually, they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. So he had to take on another body, and he took on the body of Swayambhuva Manu. They just kind of manifested out of him, remember?
Yeah.
And what was his wife's name? Yep. I want to say Satyavati, but it's not Satyavati. It's what was her name?
Not Satyabhama, no.
No.
Satrupa.
Satarupa.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they manifested, and then they immediately started to, and they had how many children? Do you remember?
Lots.
No, they didn't.
No.
3
Nope. They had 3 daughters.
and 2 sons.
That's right. Yeah. Anyone knows the names?
Priya Vrata
Priyavrata.
and Uttanapad.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nitai, go
wonderful.
Premanandi. Yeah.
Very good.
We said she was the jewel of Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the daughters.
Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti.
Oh
Whoa.
man, Nitai, go Premanandi. Okay.
That's all I know.
That's all you know, right? Most people are like, God, where'd you get that from? This has a cheat sheet somewhere. Okay, there's the 3. Text 3, you can go ahead and
okay.
continue reading to the purpose.
O best of the virtuous, the original king of kings, was a great Manu, was a great devotee of the personality of Godhead, Hari, and thus it is worth hearing of his sublime character and activities. Please describe them. I am very eager to hear.
Yeah, purport.
Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees. In the absolute world, there is no difference in quality between the Supreme Lord and his pure devotee. Therefore, hearing the topics of the Lord and hearing of the character and activities of the pure devotee have the same result, namely the development of devotional service.
Wow. Any thoughts? Yeah, go
Like
ahead.
in the modern times, you like to hear about what people have been up to, like social media. Even before social media, when there were magazines, like celebrities, or what did they do, where did they go, what did they eat, where did they stay. This is where it originates from. This is who
Right.
we should be wanting to know about. Like, and at the end, the last line, hearing of the character and activities of the pure devotee had the same result, namely the development of devotional service. Like, this is the stuff that we should be asking about. What did Manu do? Where did he go? Who did he meet?
Now, what's happening with Britney Spears?
It's also, I know it mentions, discussing about his the Lord's pure devotee is non-different, and it's like I always remember when we hear that phrase, Prabhupada said this or Prabhupada said that, and that was kind of the setting when Bhagavatam was being spoken, that Krishna had just left, and
nice.
Everyone kind of wanted to know like what had happened.
What happened? Yeah.
So like in our context, like I can definitely say in my own life that I've got a long way to go in Krishna consciousness, but I feel like my Krishna consciousness is developed by my desire to want to know about Prabhupada. What did Prabhupada do when he was here? And from his own disciples, because Prabhupada in one sense is a lot closer in time to when he was on the planet. So, and I feel like that's definitely helped me in my Krishna consciousness to develop and progress by hearing of the Lord's pure devotee.
Very nice. Yeah, it's like when Prabhupada was on the planet, all the devotees, they would watch everything that Prabhupada would do. If he looked at something, they'd all be looking, and if he said something, they'd all want to understand. And it's nectar. I mean, although I would say, it's interesting, the statement, in the absolute world there is no difference in quality, of course, that's the important part, between the Supreme Lord and his pure devotee. So there is no difference between the pure devotee and the Lord, qualitatively, not quantitatively, but qualitatively. I was listening to a lecture by Sheshika Prabhu the other day, and someone was asking this question that, it seems like, they seem the same, so that sounds like Mayavad philosophy, but qualitatively, but not quantitatively. Should we go on to the next verse? You can go.
Okay, text 4. Persons who hear from a spiritual master with great labor and for a long time must hear from the mouths of pure devotees about the character and activities of pure devotees. Pure devotees always think within their hearts of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, who awards his devotees liberation. Purport. Transcendental students are those who undergo great penance in being trained by hearing the Vedas from a bona fide spiritual master. Not only must we hear about the activities of the Lord, but we must also hear about the transcendental qualities of the devotees who are constantly thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. A pure devotee of the Lord cannot be separated from the lotus feet of the Lord for even a moment. Undoubtedly, the Lord is always within the hearts of all living creatures, but they hardly know about it because they are deluded by the illusory material energy. The devotees, however, realize the presence of the Lord, and therefore they can always see the lotus feet of the Lord within their hearts. Such pure devotees of the Lord are as glorious as the Lord. They are in fact recommended by the Lord as more worshipable than he himself. Worship of the devotee is more potent than worship of the Lord. It is therefore the duty of the transcendental students to hear of pure devotees as explained by similar devotees of the Lord, because one cannot explain about the Lord or his devotee unless one happens to be a pure devotee himself.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful verse and purport.
Yeah.
Anyone, any thoughts?
Yeah, one of the things that I wrote in an offering to Prabhupada, was like, at that time I was reflecting on is, especially now, we're seeing it in, the last year, 6 months. There's so much about, equality and how, it doesn't matter what we do, we're all equal. And to a certain extent, it's true. We are equal. But I feel like sometimes when we go too far, it prevents us from actually appreciating and honoring those who are exalted. And, that's one of the things, that's one of the qualities we need to adopt, is that humility to recognize someone who is exalted so that we can actually progress through service and inquiry to that personality or personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, it's definitely a cultural thing, but philosophically it's also there. It's not, everyone isn't the same in that sense. There are those who are more spiritually advanced, the Kanishta, the Madhyama, and the Uttama. So there are on different levels, and they're meant to be dealt with and interacted with in a different way, and that's for everyone's benefit. So that's really powerful point. Thank you. Anything, ladies? It reminds me of the verse from the fourth canto. I can't remember what it is, 425, 21, something like that. Pastime of King Priyavrata, where it mentions that the nectarian pastimes of the Lord, the Lord's lotus feet, which is covered by saffron particles. You've heard that verse before? Familiar with that?
We heard that. I think it was the other day we heard that.
Yeah.
You don't remember?
It's the verse I spoke on at on Janmashtami. And and then So the Lord's lotus feet are covered by saffron dust particles.
Vamsi Vats Prabhu's offering, he mentioned it.
Oh, that's right. He mentioned it there. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, he did. And then when the pure devotee, because he has the Lord's lotus feet in his heart, when he speaks, the saffron dust particles from those lotus feet, they like emanate in the sound vibration, and they enter into the ears of the hearer, and then the Lord's lotus feet also begin to reside within that person who hears it. So it's very very nectarian, poetic, and very, like, the imagery is very powerful. So the pure devotees, and of course there's the whole question, how many pure devotees are there, Srila Prabhupada? And what did Prabhupada say?
All my followers.
He said, how many disciples do I have? And he said, Prabhupada, you have so many, but we're not pure devotees. Prabhupada said there is pure devotee in practice and pure devotee in perfection. And then it's going to be a dog fight here, man. You guys can't see it at home, but right now things are about to get crazy. There's some kind of strange crossbreeding, one or the other. So they said, Prabhupada, we're not pure devotees. And Prabhupada said there's pure devotee in practice and pure devotee in perfection. And that's when he said a mango is a mango. So whether a mango is green or whether it's ripe, it's still a mango. So he said, if you're on the path of pure devotion, then you're also a pure devotee, but you're a pure devotee in practice. So, nectar. So should have appreciation for all the devotees. And I think it says here that the devotees, the Lord himself says that devotees are worshipable, right? Yeah, as the Lord, such pure devotees of the Lord are as glorious as the Lord. They are, in fact, recommended by the Lord as more worshipable than he himself. Somebody's not working. Okay. Anything else? Should we go to the next one? Text 5.
Sri Sukadev Goswami said, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, was pleased to place his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura, because Vidura was very meek and gentle. The sage Maitreya was very pleased with Vidura's words, and being influenced by his spirit, he attempted to speak. The word Sahasra Sirshna is very significant. One who has diverse energies and activities and a wonderful brain is known as a Sahasra Sirshna. This qualification is applicable only to the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and no one else. The personality of Godhead was pleased to dine sometimes with Vidura at his home, and while resting he placed his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura. Maitreya was inspired by the thought of Vidura's wonderful fortune. The hairs of his body stood on end, and he was pleased to narrate the topics of the personality of Godhead with great delight.
Actually, it's explained by the acharyas that Vidura was actually more advanced than Maitreya. Vidura was actually a pure devotee, whereas Maitreya Muni had some tinge of other inclinations, Gyan, or he was more like a Muni, whereas Vidura was a pure-hearted bhakta, And you can see he had such direct association with Krishna. The Lord is placing his lotus feet on his lap and hanging out at his house.
Then is Vidura questioning Maitreya just part of the Lord's pastime?
Well, there's a whole thing around it, because when the Lord when Krishna spoke the Uddhava Gita, Maitreya Muni was listening. He was nearby. And then when he instructed, I think it was Uddhava instructed Vidura that he should go and speak to Maitreya Muni, because he heard the conversation. And all of that is part of Krishna's plan to actually help Maitreya Muni to also come to the platform of pure devotional service. So by him then narrating the pastime and speaking to Vidura, knowing that Vidura would pull out Because Vidura just wants to hear the nectar, you know. So he's just asking, okay, well, what next? Let's talk some more, you know. So he's just, and so in that way, and this you can see that Maitreya is like his hair standing on end, thinking about who this personality that is before me, and he's asking me questions. So then he's pulling it out, which is a powerful thing because it's really potent to ask more questions. You know, like we were talking about the whole coaching thing. It's just about asking questions, and you can bring the best out of people by inquiring.
It's like going back to the first verse where we were talking about the word adore.
Yeah.
So it's like, a mundane example is like if somebody is talking to them about their own child, they just want to hear the nectar of their own child, even though they know their child, like, supposedly.
Inside out, yeah. Very nice point. Okay, should we go to the next one?
Bumbo.
Okay.
You can.
Huh?
Do you do it?
6? We're on 6, right? The sage Maitreya said to Vidura, after his appearance, Manu, the father of mankind, along with his wife, thus addressed the reservoir of Vedic wisdom, Brahma, with obeisances and folded hands. Oh, this is really nectar part. It's all nectar. Text 7. You are the father of all living entities and the source of their subsistence, because they are all born of you. Please order us how we may be able to render service unto you. Purport. A son's duty is not only to make the father the source of supply for all his needs, but also, when he is grown up, to render service unto him. That is the law of creation, beginning from the time of Brahma. Really powerful point, huh? A father's duty is to bring up the son until he is grown, and when the son is grown up, it is his duty to render service unto the father. There you go, real practical, cultural, like we were talking about earlier, you know, it's not just like, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. In one sense it is, but
the end is really long.
The end is very, there's a lot packed in there. Yeah, so it means also we have certain duties. We're meant to act in a certain way culturally. We're meant to exhibit Krishna consciousness in a way that inspires, encourages, enlivens others. The father is meant to take care of the son and bring him up in such a way that he's inspired to look after him when later, and to serve him nicely. Actually, later I think Lord Brahma he basically becomes so happy with him because of this mood also. So you can see, whereas Lord Brahma got angry with his first sons, which were who? Who were his first sons? They decided to renounce instead of propagate. Yeah, the 4 Kumars. And then because he got angry with them, who was produced? Rudra. Rudra, yeah. Lord Shiva came from between his eyebrows. So then the Rudra forms, and then they went out and created a population that basically started destroying the whole planet. And it's like, okay. It's like, when you look at it, you see like, Brahma's just trying to serve Krishna, you know? It's like, I was born under lotus all on my own, you know? Krishna gave me some insights, and I'm just trying to do my service here. You know, my sons won't listen to me. They don't want to, become progenitors. They just want to renounce, and I get Rudra, and he's destroying the world. He's like,
he's like the black sheep.
So he's so happy when finally Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa come, and he's like, oh God, finally I get some good offspring, you know. Of course, he says Narada Muni was also one of we discussed that earlier as well. He's like one of the 7 sages. 7 or 9. I mean, there's the Sapta Rishis, so I think there's the Sapta Rishis, and then there's Narada Muni, and he says like Narada Muni, he's just in a category of his own, you know. But he was so happy. What's that? He's a good son, yeah. Finally, I get a good. Okay, didn't produce children, but that's okay. He's a really good son. Anyway, it's so nectar reading, huh? Reading the Bhagavatam, you could just go on for hours. But we have a rule. We're going to have to stop soon because if we don't do it in bites, then people out there, you get bored, right? So we'll have to come back again to Crawley, or maybe I know people from Crawley don't venture out much. But if you ever come to
Once
London,
in a day,
Anyway, thank you all very, very much. Thank you to Kaishuri Sindhu Mataji and also to Shamgavinda
Thank you,
for
Janitai Prabhu, Bhava
coming
Bhakti
here
Mataji.
allowing us to come and spend. And by the way, earlier we had the most spectacular lasagna. So if anyone's ever in Crawley, stop in here. So thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gauda Premanandi.